走り出せ走り出せ空高く鳩と差し
Howdy news of everywhere, it's me, ShrugPod, and today I'm going to be delivering you a review for One Piece Water 7. Now, this is pretty long. This arc is split up into about 4 different parts, so trying to define how great this is as an arc is something that you'll have to read for yourself, but for me trying to explain it, it'll take a long time, so I'm going to try to summarize it the best as I can in words. So, this takes place right after the Davy Back fights, where the Straw Hats are coming to the city of Water 7 to find a carpenter to fix the Going Merry, as she's in a pretty bad shape. So after turning in the gold that they found in Skypiea for 300 million berries, it's a lot of money in One Piece, they are heading off to find help. When they arrive, Usopp runs into a little bit of trouble, getting 200 million berries stolen, and also getting beat up by a group called the Frankie family. They pretty much steal the money, and Usopp tries to fight back, but Usopp being weak isn't powerful enough to take them on. Meanwhile, Robin goes missing from Chopper's sight, and nobody seems to know where she's at. While everyone's still converging on the issue about Usopp, they go to total the Frankie house, which they do, and that's pretty much the main conflict, or the start of it. So, they only have 100 million berries, and they also receive news from official professional carpenters that the Going Merry is not able to get fixed, and so they are not able to keep the Going Merry anymore, which is pretty depressing, as Going Merry's been around since about Volume 5. After receiving this news, Usopp doesn't accept it and says he wants to keep the ship. While Luffy wants to move on, Usopp can't accept moving on. So Usopp challenges Luffy to a fight and ultimately loses. Later on the next day, the mayor of the town, whom the Straw Hats had befriended the day before, has been assassinated, kind of. Well, there was an attempt for assassination. What we soon figure out is that one of the main accusations that the Straw Hat Pirates did it, because Robin was at the scene, which, that's kind of a big deal. So the problem here is that Robin has gone missing, and the Straw Hats are being convicted. Assassination, which that's pretty bad. The city has run amok with carpenters trying to kill the Straw Hats, and Luffy has ticked off the main boss of the Frankie family, Frankie. Well, after that, Robin has joined a government organization called CP9, which we figure out later on is pretty important. So Luffy goes to confront Robin and ask her why she's doing all this. She does not answer. With CP9 becoming very powerful, they soon raiding a lot of them. Robin escapes on a sea train, which Sanji pursues, and they've also kidnapped Frankie and Usopp, which Frankie is pretty important. Keep that in mind. CP9 is hunting Frankie, pretty much, because he has blueprints that are a big deal. They are very massive, and they're about as important as Robin knowing about the poneglyphs, which I'll get into that in a second. So everybody converges on trying to kidnap, or trying to get Robin back, because Robin was actually trying to save them, which is kind of odd since she joined that organization. So it's up to Luffy, Nami, Sanji, Zoro, Chopper to get Robin back. Along with Frankie and the new Sniper King, they ride the sea train to the Never Nightless island known as Enies Lobby. Enies Lobby is pretty much a death sentence because nobody's ever made it out of there until the Straw Hats arrive. What happens is that they then come over to Enies Lobby, where they can proceed to fight the CP9 agents, which Luffy fighting the strongest one, and we even get to see Luffy get his new skill called Gear 2nd and Gear 3rd. One problem is that a Buster Call has been enacted, which a Buster Call, which is revealed in Robin's backstory, is very deadly, blowing up her whole island and making her the only survivor of Ohara. So, another problem is that Frankie burns the blueprints that Tom gave him, and Tom, in Frankie's backstory, was Frankie's mentor in shipbuilding, which he's a carpenter, so that's good. But there was a lot of problems, and so Tom ended up dying and passed on the blueprints to Iceberg, which Iceberg gave to Frankie. So the Straw Hats defeat CP9, and they save Robin, but at a cost of losing the Going Merry. The Going Merry has to be burned in a Viking ceremony, and we don't see Merry again. Merry is gone and dies. That's very sad. So another thing is that everything wraps up about a nice little story and party and stuff. But the Straw Hats get a new boat, and Usopp returns to the crew. So now they have 8 crew members and a new ship. Oh my gosh, that's a long story! What I really like about this story is that there's enough seriousness that it pretty much changes the whole tone of One Piece. This is such an important part of One Piece, because we get to see an important part that the government actually has, because there are some pretty bad government officials that Luffy has to go through. And we see Admiral Aokiji, like from the last arc, and we get to see CP9 agents, which the admirals are like 10 times stronger, so that's really bad, guys. The only downside to this arc, I love this arc, by the way. This is such a good arc. The only problem to this arc, the stupid sea train part. I freaking hate the sea train. Holy crap, the sea train is so boring. It has 30 chapters of them riding on a train going through Aqua Laguna, which is a giant storm, and it sucks so much. I hate it. Holy frick. It sucks. Ugh. It's so dumb. I really hated it. It was pointless. And they could have skipped the whole thing because they ended up getting Frankie and Robin there, which was really pointless. And Sanji busted people down, and then Sniper King came up. It's really dumb. Holy crap. Oh yeah, another thing I forgot to mention. At the very end of the arc, there's a fight between Ace and Blackbeard. It's pretty killer. There is a really cool fight. And Ace and Blackbeard fight, and it's a really cool way to see Ace in action, because we haven't seen him since Alabasta. And this is a preceding part to another part of the series that's really important, if you know what I mean. And like I mentioned before, Luffy has some new moves. He has Gear Second, which pretty much pumps his blood into making him go so crazily fast that steam starts coming out of him like a train. And then there's Gear Third, where he's able to use the power of a giant and turn his arm freaking huge, which is pretty much really good for later on. And he punches Rob Lucci right in the face. It's really cool. I like it. And I really, really do like Gear Second. No, I don't know why people don't like Gear Second. It's really weird. I don't know. I'm probably going to talk about characters now, because I didn't really do that in the last one, or the one before that. Oops. So anyway, I guess I could go into more detail about Nico Robin. Robin joined back in Alabasta, or after Alabasta, and we didn't really know much about her, and it's really great because we actually got really good character development for Robin, and her backstory is probably the most depressing part of One Piece yet. I really do believe that with 800 chapters out right now, that Robin's backstory is very, very depressing. Like, probably the most. Number one. It really is. It's sad. Another character that I have to mention, who actually joins the crew in the end, is Cutty Flam, otherwise known as Frankie. Frankie is a shipwright who is a cyborg that is powered on cola. Yes, you heard that right. Soda powers this cyborg man. So he's really cool. And at the time when I first watched Water 7, I really liked Frankie. He was my favorite Straw Hat. Well, he's not now. He's probably my second. But after the time skip, I don't know. It gets sad. I guess I should talk about the new ship. I mean, that's a crew member. Because after Going Merry died, I think I cried. I think I legitimately cried during the scene where the Going Merry died. And just watch it. Like I mentioned, this is really important because there are a lot of tone changes. characters act differently because of the way that the tone is delivered, and Ichiro Oda did it geniusly. This is a really good... Now, like I mentioned, this is a very important arc because of the change in tone for the series. It goes from a nice, adventurous manga to very serious, action-based manga. And so, Ichiro Oda really does this perfectly and hits the nail on the head because he does this very well, making this a very good arc of manga. And I really have to say that next to the Soul Society arc in Bleach, this is probably one of the best shonen arcs that we've ever had. I haven't read a lot of Naruto. I apologize. But the thing is that characters act differently because of the way that the tone is conveyed, and I really like it. Even Usopp steps up and doesn't become a giant pansy. Thank goodness. Now the art, I feel like, is also really good because this is how I feel like that the Straw Hats should have looked the whole way through. So now Robin doesn't have that weird nose thing going on. Oh, what is that? So, this is what the Straw Hats, I feel like, was Ichiro Oda's original plan, because they're, like, in a really good spot right now, because they all look really good, and I really like the picture of the Straw Hats just, like, sitting there on the courthouse. I'll probably show it right there. And I really liked that picture because it's cool, and all the Straw Hats looked really, really freaking cool, I have to say. And it's probably one of the most memorable pictures of One Piece, because, heck, I even had it on my computer screen for a while. I don't now, but I did. So, I really like this. This is a really good arc in One Piece. It's really probably one of the probably the best that it's ever had. At this point, I can't say that it's ever had, because that'll get me killed. But every single part of it was good, except Rocket Man. Rocket Man's dumb. So all of this was really well made, and I really enjoyed reading it. I really enjoy talking about it, and it's just an overall defining moment in One Piece, and that's why I have to give this a 9.4 out of 10, making this a Shrug Premium review. Another one, dang it! So, the thing is that if you want to buy this, buy that. Buy that. You can get all of that for a good price. And you get Water 7, the start of Thriller Bark, and Skypiea, which is really good. Then you get the Strong World comic, and I really like the Strong World comic. But it's really good. But if you want to buy single volumes, that's okay too. I really don't care how you buy it. Just buy this. It's really, really good. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. If you like this, then follow me on Twitter so you can see other stuff so you can see what I'm about to do. And then also look for my other reviews. See if you like other series. Broaden your horizons. I should probably do that. Thank you guys once again for watching, and bye-bye.